You mentioned raping in Africa and everywhere, and I can see the one who does that is traumatized. I can see, I can recognize that. But then, I struggle with the freedom I feel then, because it's like I can feel compassion on the one side, on the other side there's so much damage done, and maybe it's necessary. I think it's necessary, but how to deal with this freedom? Because sometimes I think, okay, I can go everywhere I want, because I don't feel sometimes, not most of the time, I feel a need of direction. And I don't know why, because that freedom is endless. And on the other hand, I can't cope with it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm not totally sure, but I'll try.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of I.
Yeah.
I feel freedom, I feel a need. Who is this I who feels that?
I identified with it.
Yeah.
I know. But letting it loose is like, I think that's the difficulty. Letting it loose is losing myself in a certain way. On the other hand, I damage myself in holding it okay, talk further.
So letting it loose, if we take the I out, maybe there is a movement possible in which we all can look together to the damage which is done by rape. What does the rapist need not to rape anymore? What is needed? What is the trauma? How does it come out? What is needed? How could we work together on this? This is taking responsibility. With the I, it should be there. It's too horrible. It is there. You see the difference?
I try to understand these horrible things, and that's my difficulty. I try to place myself in the rapist, and then I can see his hurts, but I see the one who is raped too. So it's hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smile, I cry.
What is hurting?
This pain.
Who feels the pain?
It's for a part collective pain. And for
Who
I
is
feel the pain.
who is the I who feels the pain?
I've been raped, so it is an old trauma. But on the other hand, I don't know if it is mine, because it's not.
Does it matter if it's yours? You know, you're making loops again into the mind, and you're separating. It's pain which is there. This pain is collective, it's part of us.
Yeah.
And maybe it happened to you, and maybe it happened to others. It doesn't matter. It's happening. It's part of us. So who is feeling the pain?
I think a lot of people. I feel pain because I'm feeling through this body, but it's like I see the pain too.
So can you accept the pain?
Yeah, yeah, because I see it's happening, but I want to understand it.
Why do you want to understand it?
To work at it, to understand what is.
What would make, how would it be different if you would understand it? If you could, write a thesis on rapists, why they rape, and exactly understand why they're doing it, that's understanding. So what would be the difference?
I don't know. To soften something in myself.
Exactly. So that means that there is an entanglement that it's difficult to accept. And you need to soften something in yourself to come to acceptance. So who is this I who cannot accept?
What is this like? This traumatized body.
That's the trauma. That's the identification with the trauma.
Yeah.
Are you that? Or are you the one who's identifying?
I'm not that, I know.
So if you are aware that you are the one who is identifying, so where is there a loss of freedom?
Where's the loss?
The loss of freedom.
There's just a rejection of pain. And
Yes, there is a rejection of pain.
yeah. I don't want that people are acting like that. I want to feel that pain.
Yeah. So we come all together and we say, this is bad, 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 you shouldn't do this, this is really bad. This is bad behavior, you shouldn't do it. And if you do it, we chuck off your head. Chop, chop. Does that change anything? A lot of chopped off heads.
Less mind.
But yeah, less mind. But does that change anything? Does it really change anything? For ages we're moving like this. We don't want this. It's too painful. It's horrible. And we say it's bad, 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 bad. We make a law against it. It shouldn't be there. It's bad, 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 bad. It's really important to find a different way. I think. You know, and when we talk about the world and what's happening in the world, it's nothing else as a reflection of what's happening inside us and how we're dealing with ourselves.
But what do you think to do then? Because if you don't chop off their heads or don't set them, put them away, now you often get the reaction now then things are going out of control, and
if you
the
don't
world
chop
is
off
lost.
heads of rapists, everybody's going to rape.
Hmm?
If you don't chop off heads of rapists, everybody's going to rape. Because raping is really fun.
Yeah, but
Yes.
you know.
Yes, exactly. No, but you know,
If you don't control some sort of
I'm not
group,
saying
then it's spreading.
I'm not
but
saying
how to deal then?
take
How-
it serious. Really take it serious.
You gotta learn.
Not push it away, the victim away and the rapist away. Take it serious. This is happening. Why is this happening? What is my responsibility in that this is happening? Really move into the depth of it. Move into the split between male and female. And all the hatred which is there. And all the suffering which is there. And you know, if you start to move in it inside yourself, and just look at all the beliefs which are there, everything which is alive in you already from generations. You know, this is the work which is there to be done.
Yeah.
This is taking it serious. And this work we can do easily if we don't identify with it, if we don't disappear in it, if we don't become it.
Nothing personal.
It is the step to move beyond the I. It's not about the I, it's not about you.
You know, if we were to guarantee 100% there would be no more rapes or any kind of bad behaviors, abusive behaviors, would the pain be gone? Would that take the pain away? What's much more likely is the pain would remain because the damage is there, and the pain is here, and then it will take form again. And if it's not through rape, it's going to be some other form of power abuse, because the pain is there, and nobody's agreeing to feel it. And we make this loop under the banner of taking care, in which we avoid feeling the pain. So it looks like compassion, but it's the opposite. It's ignorance.
Do you mean that when you in life have pain, make pain, make it different, that then you bring it in the world and then somewhere else it come out?
And it's collective. We are one human race.
If
one
we don't feel
human
the pain,
being.
it will come through our children.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like it's, it's not personal.
So when you take care for your life, that you okay.
That's all what we can do. If we start to take care of our lives, if you move through something which is very difficult inside yourself, there is created freedom, there's created space. In this, there is a safe ground for others around you to move to the same, because you are containing the space to help them to come to the same space. It's not a contraction, it's an expansion. It's exactly the opposite. But for this, we need to find a position inside ourselves in which we don't identify as personal. We can pick it up, we can feel it, we can move to the depth of horror, but this is possible if we don't identify with it. You understand? And one of the ways to learn not to identify with it is going to the depth of horrors identified and die in it. And die in it. The person dies in it. When it's horrible enough, the person will die in it.
Because you go back to the...
One way of getting this freedom is moving to the depth of the unbearable and die in it. As a person, the person will die in it, and then you will see that you're still there. And the person will rise up again. It doesn't get lost. The person can really take care of himself or herself.
What do you mean by dying? That the body dies?
Also that,
Also that,
you see.
but also it is uncontainable, so all we want to be, all we strive to be, all what is not good about us, all what good is about us, all these ideas, they die in it. Because they're not important anymore. It's just pee-pee-kaki. It's really pee-pee-kaki. It's, you know, if you wake up one morning and your loved one beside you died, who is worried about what the neighbors think about how big your car is? Or who is rejecting you because of your nose? Who worries about that? The moment that something is happening which is really incredibly painful, incredibly difficult, then something starts to kind of, to revive inside us almost, like it's yummy. Because now it's real. You recognize I'm talking about? Now it's real. This is for real. Crisis. There people are moving from crisis to crisis. Yum, 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 yum. Because in the crisis there's something new, real. In every birth there's something real. You die in giving birth as women. You die. The person dies in it. In the end, it's just a body giving birth. The person is not there anymore. And it's such a light which comes through then. It's so pure, so beautiful, so real. But the person is gone. Every death process, you see the same. It's almost the same atmosphere, the atmosphere of reality. This is what we're talking about. This is outside polarity. And we know it's real because we say, this is real. This is now, I want a connection with other people, which is real. I want this connection. So start with the connection with yourself. What is real?
Then what to do is, because if you have the rapist in front of you, and he went into detention and you have to do something, you can't say, okay, I understand you, and then some people are so damaged, or it is a long way, it's not practical, then what do you do then?
Whatever you feel at that moment is good and you can take responsibility for. Be real. Not come from an idea in your head, but come in a real grounds, what's coming forward as a right according to the depth of yourself, whatever depth you have. This is the only thing we can do. All the other things is kind of, following another authority, and another authority tells us to march. Another authority tells us to rape. Another authority tells us to hate or demands love from us. But that's not what it is about. What you feel is right in the moment. What you can do, you can do. That's it. There is not asked from us to be more as human. And if it's right now, for all of us together to have laws to try to prevent this as much as possible, then the laws are right. But the laws will not distinguish it. It will just repress, maybe, it a little bit. You know, to keep people in form by giving rules how they should behave, how they should act, is keeping people into suffering. This is important to understand. There is a high price to this.
Yeah, but I can't think of how then.
So,
'Cause
do you trust the goodness of your own heart?
I don't think so.
Do you trust, if you have an open heart and you love another person, that on purpose you will harm the other person? No. So then, if you don't want to harm other people and you don't want to harm yourself, move with the heart. And when you're not able to move to the heart, do some effort to kind of find the connection with your heart again. It's really very simple. Nobody really wants to harm another person except when he is in unbearable pain. And the pain gives a hatred and anger, and then we need to hurt. Because we are so hurt and nobody is seeing it. But nobody is seeing it. The person cannot bear it. But also, the one who is aware is not really connected because we are not really connected. If you see it yourself completely, it's enough.
Maybe it's important to say that if the body is free, if we're free of trauma, because we are in a place like, not that the traumas are not there, we get the whole collective traumas of humanity, but in a place of stillness, the person is free, life is free, the human is free. You see, in that position of stillness, a rape happening, your body is free. It will move, it will rip his balls off and kick his teeth in.
If necessary.
And take her in the arms. It will move of itself, according to need. Like you came here according to need. It will move according to human need.
Or the other way around. It will jump, hug the rapist, bring awareness to the rapist. Whatever is possible, needed in that moment. It's not in polarity. It could be both.
When the trauma holds us, it's most likely you'll see somebody being raped and you'll freeze. You'll freeze. And then when if somebody comes and says, I was raped, it will be like a real difficulty letting in what's there. And the first difficulty in this situation is letting in the energy of the abuser, which is part of the experience. If you take out the rapist and you take out and they take out the victim, you take out both and you just feel the energy which is shared by both. That's what's more real. The abuser and the abused is totally one in that energy.
They're part of the expression of a collective problem.
And in prisons there are rapists who moved through the depths of regret and moved out of this trauma from the abuser's side who work with prisoners. There are people who, going into prisons, who show the way, because they know. They know what that is. In some ways, the situation of the abuser is much more taboo and forbidden and locked up than the situation of the victim. Which is a problem for the victims because they contain both, so it's never really coming to closure.
The abuser is containing the victim, and the victim is containing the abuser. It's both. There is no other way. And for both, one sentence is really important and can help. It's the sentence, remember who you are. Remember who you are. But sometimes we don't want to remember who we are.
It can be as if we can be awake, we can wake up, we can awaken our consciousness, but deep down in our memory we know that if we open our eyes we're going to also see this horrible thing. And so we keep our eyes closed because we don't want to see the horrible thing, but for that we shut ourselves off from life. So one part of awakening and coming into the body and coming into moving beyond polarity is there's an awakening from the cellular. So the first thing that comes forward often is the thing we don't want to be here, the thing we don't want to see, the condition. I can't really awaken because there's rape happening here, or abandonment, or
rejection. It's a very strong one.
Because it's dark here.
Cruelty. There's such a darkness. There's so little light. When I had my first big awakening, I shook my fist to God. Why is it so dark here? What I projected was God. Why is it so dark here on this planet? Why is there so little light? It took me years to understand why. Because if the amount of light would be stronger, so many egos blow up to grandiosity, because we identify with the ego and not with the essence. So what we identify with is blowing up. It would be horrific. The amount of... Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what we see in leaders, Everybody is kind of, putting concentration, awareness, attention towards leaders and sharing light. And if the leader is identifying with an ego structure, the ego structure blows up and into craziness. And we've seen that so much already.